I'm 31. I live in Portland, in a small apartment on the third floor of an old brick building that used to be a factory. Now it's a residential building, but the walls still smell of wood and paint. I work as a sound engineer in a music studio, not big but cozy. We record local musicians, remaster old records. Sometimes we make podcasts. Music is not just a job. It's what keeps me going. When everything else falls apart, I turn on a record, sit in the dark, and just listen. It's my meditation, my therapy, my breathing. But the most important thing is my vinyl collection. I've been collecting it for 9 years. I started after my father died. He was a jazz fan, and when he died, I found an old Miles Davis, kind of blue, in his closet. I bought a record player, put the disc in, and for the first time in a month, I felt alive. From that day on, I started collecting. Not for investment, not for fashion, for myself, for memories. Each disc is a moment. Nick Drake, Pink Moon, the night I decided not to go to a party, but to just sit in the rain and think. Joni Mitchell, Blue, the first day after being discharged from the clinic, when I realized that I wanted to live. Nirvana, In Utero, when I quit smoking. Fleetwood Mac, Rumors Asterisk, when I broke up with the first girl I truly loved. In total, 387 discs. Some are rare. Some are simple copies that I found for $1 at a flea market. But they all have a story. I kept them on wooden shelves that I made myself. I varnished each shelf by hand. Each disc is in its original wrapper, with notes on the back. Where it was bought, when, who I was with at the time. It was my sanctuary. 3 weeks ago, I suddenly lost consciousness at work. My colleagues found me. I was lying at the console, not moving. Emergency room, hospital, diagnosis, acute pancreatitis. Doctors said it was due to stress, poor nutrition, maybe heredity. I spent 11 days in the hospital. I was in pain, couldn't eat, felt weak. But the worst thing was the feeling of losing control. During my treatment, my brother, David, took care of me. He's 29. We've always been close, but in recent years we've grown apart. He lives in Seattle, works in construction, and is often on business trips. But when he found out I was in the hospital, he came right away. He brought my favorite coffee, a book I wanted to read, and sat by my bed when I felt unwell. I was grateful, very grateful. When I was discharged, he said, "Don't worry about the apartment. I cleaned everything, aired it out, watered the flowers. Everything is clean." I thanked him. I didn't think about anything except getting back to normal. On my first day home, I went straight to my room. I wanted to hear music. Something familiar. Something that would say, "You're back." But when I turned on the light, the shelves were empty. I thought, I'm dreaming. I checked the closets, the floor, under the bed, the drawers. Nothing. No record. No cover. Even the storage boxes, they were gone. My heart started beating faster. I called David. "Where are my vinyl records?" "I sold them," he said calmly. "What?" "I sold my collection. In the hospital, you talked about bills. About insurance. I knew you were struggling. I didn't want you to leave the hospital in debt. You sold my collection?" "Yes. To the owner of the record store on Wallace Street. He gave me $6,800. I put the money in your account. It's already there." I sat down on the floor. I couldn't understand. Did you know it wasn't just records? Did you know that was all I had? I knew it was important. But I thought the money was more important right now. "Couldn't you ask? You were in a coma. The doctor said you might not wake up." I couldn't wait. "It's not yours. I'm your brother." I wanted to help. We screamed. Then he said, "I'm not going to apologize. I did what I thought was right. And if you want to fire me for it, go ahead." He hung up. I went into the bank. The money was there. $6,800, reposted from David. Intended for treatment. I didn't take them, and I still haven't. I sat down in front of the empty shelves. I put my hand on one of them. It still smelled of my wood polish. And for the first time since the hospital, I cried. Not from pain, but from the loss of something that money can't replace. I don't know if he did out of love, but I know he destroyed what was mine. And now I don't know how to look him in the eye. I didn't sleep for a week. Not because I was too angry, but because I couldn't accept that it had really happened. Every time I walked into the room, my eyes would automatically look at the empty shelves, as if waiting for the discs to suddenly appear. That was a dream, but they didn't come back. I didn't answer David's calls. He wrote, "I wanted to help, not destroy. You were in the hospital. I couldn't wait. If you need more money, I'll help." I didn't answer, Because I didn't know what to say. Because I didn't know if it could even be fixed. And then something occurred to me. I opened an old notebook, the one where I kept track of all the discs. Every number, every date, every note. And I started checking to see if they were all in the collection when I was taken to the hospital. And then I stopped at one entry. Joni Mitchell Blue, 1971, autographed edition. Received, October 12, 2015. From my mother. Last gift. I felt uneasy. This disc was not just rare. It was unique. In 2015, my mother won the lottery for a Joni Mitchell concert in Vancouver. She had never been a fan, but she knew I was. And she asked for an autograph. After the concert, she was lucky. Joni personally signed the cover, for a true listener. With love, Joni. My mother brought it to me a week later. 3 days later she died of a stroke. I never sold it. I never even took it out of the house. It stood alone, on the highest shelf, under glass. I listened to it once a year, October 12th, and every time I cried. And now I didn't know if it was among the ones that David sold. I called the store. He said he had sold the collection to Vinyl and Soul on Wallace Street. They put me in touch with the owner, Eric. Yeah, I bought the collection from David, he said. Pretty good selection. Lots of classics. Was there an autographed Joni Mitchell Blue CD? He paused. Yes, he said. There was. But I didn't buy it. What? I told David. This isn't just a CD. This is an artifact. I can't buy it for money. If it's valuable to you, give it back. I'll take the rest, but not this one. And what did he do? He said he'd think about it. And the next day he brought all the CDs back, except this one. He said, it's a home. I can't sell it. My heart stopped. He took it. But it's my record. I don't know what he did next, Eric said. But he didn't sell it to me. I wouldn't buy it. It's not something you can sell. I hung up. So David knew it was a special record. He knew it was important. And he kept it for himself. I called him. You took the Joni Mitchell. The autographed one. Yes, he said. I couldn't sell it. But you could have kept it for me. I wanted to. But when I saw it under glass, when I read the note, I thought you didn't even realize how important it was. That you just kept it and didn't appreciate it. What do you mean? You listen to it once a year. And the rest of the time, it just sits there. I thought, maybe I should have it. It was a gift from my mother. She was my mother too, he said quietly. And I remember when she came back from that concert. How happy she was to give you such a gift. But you weren't even with her in her last days. You were depressed. I sat by her bedside. I held her hand when she died. And you came 2 days later. I fell silent. Are you saying you deserve this CD more? I'm not saying that. But I can't give it back. Because I already gave it to you. To whom? To my daughter. She's 7. Last week she said she wanted to be a singer. I gave her this CD. I said, this is for my grandmother. She loved music too. I couldn't breathe. You gave my CD to your daughter, and you didn't even tell me? I thought it was better than selling. I thought it would bring someone happiness. But it wasn't your decision. And who was supposed to take it? You? The one who was in the hospital? The one who didn't even know what he was losing? I didn't answer. Because I didn't know what to say. I'm not mad at him for the money. I'm mad at him for deciding who has the right to memory. Who deserves a legacy? Who values it better? And now I'm standing in front of the empty shelves and wondering, was this a collection? Was this the last thread to those I lost? I didn't answer him for 3 days. Not because I didn't want to, but because I was afraid that if I said even one word, everything would fall apart. I didn't know if I could forgive him. Not because he gave me the CD, but because he decided he had a right to it, that he understood what was important better. And then he wrote, her name is Lila. She's 7. She listens to this CD every night. She says she hears her grandmother in the songs. If you want to see her, come over. Not to fight, just to see. I didn't know if this was manipulation, but I knew I wanted to see what had happened to what was mine. I arrived in Seattle on a Saturday. David lived in a small house on the outskirts, with a garden, a swing, and an old bicycle in the yard. He came out to greet me. He didn't hug me. He just said, thanks for coming. We sat on the porch. We were silent. Then he said, she's home, doing her homework. Do you want to see? I nodded. We went in. The house smelled of cinnamon and paint. There were children's drawings on the walls. And one was big, with a piano, a woman with long hair, and a little girl next to her. The caption read, Asterisk, Grandma teaches me to sing. Asterisk. She drew that after she started listening to the CD, David said. Then the door opened. Dad, I'm done, the little girl said. She looked just like our mother. The same eyes. The same look she had when she was thoughtful. Lilo, this is your Uncle Alex, David said. She looked at me. She smiled. Hi. Are you the one who likes music? Yes, I said. And you? Me too. Especially Joni. She sings to me at night. What? Well, not in her real voice. But when I listen, I think she hears me. And Grandma too. I couldn't look away. Do you know who Joni is? Yes. She's the woman who wrote the songs for Grandma. Uncle David said she signed the CD especially for her. I looked at him. He wasn't lying. He was just reinterpreting the truth. Can I listen to it? I asked. She nodded. She ran to her room. She came back with the CD. In an old cover. I recognized her immediately. A tea stain in the corner. Joni's signature, a little smudged. And at the bottom, a handwritten note from my mother, for my son. May music always save you. Lila put the CD on the player. She turned on a case of you and sat down next to her. She didn't dance. She didn't jump. She just sat there, closed her eyes, and swayed to the beat. Like her. Like our mother. And then, when the song was over, she said, I want to be able to write a song that can save someone someday. I couldn't speak. David looked at me. I didn't want to betray you, he said quietly. I wanted her to know where she came from. That she had a grandmother who loved music. That she had a family who cared about her. But you couldn't ask. I could. But I was afraid you would say no. That you would want to keep it to yourself. And that he would stand there under glass, and no one would hear how he could change his life. He already changed mine. But you didn't give him a chance to change anyone else's. We were silent. Lila looked at me. Uncle, do you listen to her too? Yes, I said. Every year. October 12th. Is it Grandma's Day? Yes. Why don't you listen to her more often? Because I'm afraid that if I do, she'll stop being special. She thought about it. What if I share it with you? Can we listen together? I looked at David. He wasn't asking. He wasn't manipulating. He was just waiting. Yes, I said. I really want to. Lila smiled. And at that moment I realized, this wasn't a loss. This is a transfer. And maybe that's how the mother wanted it to be. I didn't go home right away after that night. I stayed on the stretcher in the guest room. David and I didn't talk for long. Not about the past. Not about anger. But in the morning, when I was drinking coffee on the porch, he came out and sat next to me. Thanks for coming, he said. And for seeing her. She looks like Mom, I said. Everything about her is from her. Yes, he nodded. And her voice too. When she sings, I feel warm. We were silent. Not tense. Like when we were kids, sitting on the roof, looking at the stars. I didn't want you to lose her, I said. I just wanted you to ask. I know, he said. And I was wrong. Not because I gave you the CD, but because I decided for you. I thought I was doing better. But better is when you have a choice. I nodded. So what now? I propose a simple one. You can take the disc every October 12th. As usual. And the rest of the time, it stays with Lila. She can listen to it, but not take it out of the house. And if she ever wants to pass it on, we'll make an arrangement together. And what if I want to have my own copy? I already have it, he said. What? He went to the closet, came back with an old case. He opened it. Inside, an exact copy of the disc. The same cover, restored by hand. Joni's signature, reproduced from photo. And at the bottom, a new note. For Alex. Just so you know, you haven't lost anything. I did it when you were in the hospital, he said. Not because I didn't trust you, but because I was afraid that if something happened to the original, it would disappear forever. I took the disc in my hands. Wait, the texture, even the smell, it was a little different but close. You restored it. Yes, I found a restorer. We made a copy, recreated the cover, even your mother's note. I left the original with Lily. And this is for you. I couldn't speak. I didn't want you to feel like you were being deprived of something. I wanted you to have a choice. I looked at him, and for the first time in years, I saw in him not the brother who had betrayed me, but the brother who was trying to preserve something important for all of us. Thank you, I said. That's more than I expected. He nodded. He said nothing more. I stayed for 2 more days. I played with Lily. I taught her to recognize the cello in both sides now. I told her how our mother danced a river. And when I left, she hugged me and said, Uncle, you can come more often, and we'll listen together. I promise, I said. I came home with a copy of the CD. I put it on a shelf, next to the empty places where the others used to be. I didn't buy new ones. I didn't try to rebuild the collection. Because I realized it wasn't just a collection. It was a phase. And it was over. But on October 12th, for the first time in 9 years, I didn't turn on the player in the dark. I called David. He connected Lila. We put in our CDs, the original and the copy, and listened to Blue together, the three of us. And when the last time I saw Richard ended, Lila said, "Did Grandma listen today too?" I looked at David. He smiled. "Yes," I said. "She definitely did." And in that moment I realized, memory is not in the material. It is in the one who is ready to pass it on. We didn't become a brilliant family right away. No hugs every day, no evening calls. But something changed. Not everything, but the main thing. 2 months after that evening with Blue, David wrote. Lila recorded her first song. Simple. On the ukulele. It's called Grandmother in the Rain. Do you want to hear it? I replied, yes. He sent the audio. 3 minutes. Simple accompaniment. A trembling voice. But there was something familiar about it. Not the music, but the feeling. Like my mother used to sing to me when I was a child. The song was about a woman standing in the rain, holding a record and smiling because she knew someone still remembered her. I cried, not because I was sad, but because I realized the memory is alive. And it's not in me, not in David, not in the disc. She's in what's passed on. I called him. We could do something with this, I said. Not just for her. For others. What exactly? An archive. Or a project. To record children who have lost their parents talking about them through music. Through songs. Through voices. And to preserve it. Not for fame. But for those who will one day say, I don't want to forget. He paused for a long moment. Are you serious? Yes. I have a studio. You have connections to charities. We could start with children in orphanages, with those who are going through loss. Just give them a microphone. And time. What should we call it? I thought. Voices they left behind. Yes. We started small. The first recording was a girl named Sophie, 9 years old. Her mother died in an accident. She brought an old cassette player with the song Holding Out for a Hero. She said she was listening to this while she was making breakfast. Now I turn it on, and it's like she's coming back. We recorded her. She sang. She cried. She told stories. We didn't edit it. We didn't hide it. We just kept it. Then there was a boy who played a song on the flute that his father had written for him. Another girl read a letter that she never sent. We didn't make a show out of it. No social media. No big statements. We just created a website. Simple. With recordings, photos, stories. And we wrote on the main page. The project started to grow. Not quickly, but sincerely. Schools started to reach out. Psychologists offered help. A musician suggested we make an album based on children's songs. And then, a year later, on Lila's birthday, David sent me a video. She was sitting in their living room, holding her favorite CD, Blue. Next to it was a copy that David had given me. It's a story about 2 brothers who lost one thing, but found something more, she said. The original CD belongs to my dad because he gave it to me. But the copy belongs to Uncle Alex because he made it. And now they listen to it together. And so do I. And that's good, because memory is not something to hide. It's something to share. The video ended with her playing A Case of You. And the 3 of them, her, David, and I, sitting together listening. I played that video over and over again. I didn't forgive David in one day. I didn't forget what he did. But I learned that forgiveness is not about saying, that was okay. It's about saying, I don't want this to destroy us forever. And now, when I sit in the studio listening to a child talk about a father who is no longer there, I don't think about empty shelves. I think about how even the greatest loss can be the beginning of something new. That memory is not a possession. It is a gift. And if we are willing to share it, it will never disappear.